A basic bunker shot needs to be simple to execute. You have to be able to remember it. So there's 3 steps we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about 1, the setup. We're going to talk about 2, lowering the hands and adding more loft correctly. And number 3 is about the release. Getting that release correct so you can get the height, get the distance, and realize you don't have to try that hard to hit good bunker shots. So first of all, there's variables, right? There's lots of variables when it comes to bunkers. When you're in wet sand, fluffier sand. Now this today is a little bit interesting. It's kind of probably quite average because we have a bit of fluffiness on top, but underneath, because we've had a bit of rain, it's kind of packed down quite a fair amount. So people always ask me, you know, how do I play out of harder packed sand or whatever it might be? I mean, there's lots of ways to adjust to compensate for the differences, but really all you're looking at is taking less sand. Bear that in mind when we come to the 3rd step, because we're going to talk about that a little bit further. So setup, all we need to do is have the ball about left on our front chest, left chest, or whatever it is. We want about 60% of weight here, but too many of you end up kind of leaning way too far forward and getting stuck and always stopping your impact here, and you dig into the turf or sand. There isn't that follow through, there isn't that acceleration. And we often get a bit stuck of whether do we use the body, do we use the hands? One of the easiest tips I can give you is to really understand that this action, just using the hands here, around and around, is going to give you the most reliability. Yes, you might get a bit more spin, you might have some more options when you get the body into it, but getting the body into it adds a variable. And unless you've got crap tons of time to be able to practice, you don't have to do as much with the body. So let's get 60-40% here. We want to feel stable, right? We want to lower ourselves down. So we want the ball to be a little bit further away from us as we're standing. We don't want to be too uptight here because we don't want that leading edge digging into it. We're going to stand a little bit further away, a little bit more weight on that front side. And then from there, that's our posture, our setup. Then we're talking about step 2, which is really about just lowering the hands. A lot of times we see people standing way open, trying to cut across it and getting that glancing blow. That's when the thins, that's where the chunks come from. Very unreliable. Remember, this is just basic foundation stuff and you build up from it. So let's look at standing a lot more square. I don't care about it being precise. We're just standing a little bit squarer. My club face is actually starting square to the target, right? I'm not really going to open it initially. So I'm going to have this square to my target. And then from here, what I'm going to do is actually just lower my hands. By doing that, I'm adding and increasing loft. And from this position, I don't have to manipulate anywhere near as much. If I was here, I have to work a lot harder to get the wrists, the arms in the position. If I lower the hands here, it's almost like a cheat code that I can just go around with my hands and arms here and back around this way. So I'm going to lower the arms, keep that club face open, and just go round and around. That is about as fail-safe as you can get when it comes to a standard bunker shot. If we want to get better at distance control, because that really what I just showed you there was just get the damn thing out. When you get that technique, just keep working on it, keep working on it. But the next one, and I've talked about this before, we don't have to always hit shots to improve, especially out of bunkers. It's not about how far the ball goes. I want you to concentrate more on where the grains of sand go. How far do we want to hit it? A shorter one, we want the sand to go shorter. A longer one, the sand goes longer. That's the intention. And you'll be shocked at how effective the intention will be when you're not necessarily trying to adjust anything to hit the shot any further. But these grains of sand that are behind the ball, that's what I'm looking at. That's my objective, is to get them far as I can. Now, after I've pieced the first step, the second step, I'm on to the third step with that intention, but I want to allow my hands and arms to stay relatively close. So my finish position, if you will, is going to almost feel like my hands are nearer my pocket here. You'll notice if you hit a few crappy ones or dig in, you might be swinging too long this way. Your arms might be lifting up too much, you might be wiping across it. So keeping your body more stable, keeping your intention about that grain of sand going here, we're just going to allow those hands and arms to rotate and move around. I'm not flipping, I'm just putting them back in my pocket, keeping them very close. It's almost like I'm just going here to here, here to here. I'm not trying to go wide and wide. That's one way of doing it, but again, this is just very, very foundational. So I'm going to piece all that together, lower those hands, and just around and around. It gets out every single time, and you can learn that distance control. Give those basic tips for a lob shot and bunker shot a try and let me know how you get on. Now, if you want to make sure that you hit more greens in regulation and not need as many lob shots and bunker shots, this tip is dead easy, and I guarantee it's going to help you hit more of those greens with more confidence. Thanks for watching.